For centuries, philosophers and scientists agreed on one basic assumption, that inside your head there is a single, indivisible you, a unified consciousness calling the shots. But the biology of our brains tells a different story. In 1962, a World War II veteran named Joe became the first window into this reality. After a head injury, Joe suffered from debilitating, uncontrollable epileptic seizures. When traditional medical treatments failed, his doctors proposed a radical physical intervention. To stop the electrical storms of epilepsy from spreading, surgeons performed a callosotomy, physically severing the corpus callosum. This is a dense highway of 200 million neurons that serves as the primary bridge between the brain's left and right hemispheres. On the surface, the procedure worked. Joe's seizures stopped, and he appeared to recover perfectly. His memory, IQ, and everyday motor skills remained intact. He could walk, talk, and interact with the world exactly as he had before. But as researchers began to run specialized tests, they realized that by cutting that neural bridge, they had effectively trapped two isolated operating systems inside a single skull. Strange physical symptoms began to emerge during routine tasks. One hand would reach into a closet to select a specific outfit, while the other hand, seemingly with a mind of its own, would push it back and reach for something else. Researchers confirmed this internal conflict with visual tests. When an image was shown exclusively to Joe's right brain, he would verbally deny seeing anything at all. Yet, if asked to draw with his left hand, which is controlled by that same right brain, he could accurately sketch the very object he claimed not to see. The right hemisphere saw the image and reacted, but lacked the speech centers to report it. The left hemisphere could speak, but remained blind to what the other half knew. It suggests that our sense of being a single person might just be a result of the two halves of our brain being able to talk to each other. This division exists because our nervous system is wired contralaterally. The left hemisphere controls the right side of the body, while the right hemisphere manages the left. But beyond movement, our brains evolved a strict division of labor. This is brain lateralization. The two halves of your head run completely different software. The left hemisphere is your analytical hub. It handles logic, mathematics, and crucially, the vast majority of speech. Specific regions like Broca's and Wernicke's areas, which allow us to form and understand sentences, are almost always found only on the left side. The right hemisphere, meanwhile, is effectively mute. It cannot speak, but it specializes in the big picture: spatial awareness, facial recognition, and the emotional context of a conversation. Instead of being a uniform organ, the human brain functions as a compartmentalized machine, with separate regions performing parallel, unequal tasks. This level of asymmetry is rare. Most highly intelligent animals have far more symmetrical brains. So what forced the human brain to divide itself so aggressively? The shift likely began millions of years ago with bipedalism. Once our ancestors started walking on two legs, their hands were no longer needed for locomotion, freeing them for more complex work. Survival began to depend on the creation of specialized tools and weapons. These tasks required extreme fine motor precision, striking a stone at a precise angle or carving wood, and historically, this work became dominated by the right hand. Because the right hand is wired to the left brain, this constant physical fine-tuning may have forced the left hemisphere to develop the sequential, analytical processing needed to handle those complex steps. At the same time, we hit a physical limit. Walking upright required a narrower pelvis, which meant the human birth canal could only accommodate a head of a certain size. Our brains couldn't simply keep growing larger to add more features. To maximize efficiency within that limited space, the brain began to eliminate duplicate functions. It saved space by permanently moving logic to the left and spatial awareness to the right, rather than keeping copies of both on each side. This evidence points toward a surprising link. The very logic and language we use to define ourselves may have started as an evolutionary adaptation for building tools with our right hands. This evolutionary history suggests that consciousness is a localized, modular process, rather than a centralized soul or single command center. What we experience as a unified reality is actually an emergent property, a final product assembled by dozens of specialized modules, each adding its own layer of data. The process begins deep in the brainstem, at the reticular activating system, This area acts as the power switch, booting up the basic biological alertness required for any experience to happen. From there, raw sensory data hits the thalamus. This is the brain's relay station. It prioritizes what's important and filters out the environmental noise, so we aren't overwhelmed by every single sound or touch. Next, the insular cortex processes the information, blending the sensory data with your personal memories and emotions. This adds a subjective layer, making the experience uniquely yours. Finally, the signal reaches the visual cortex at the back of the brain, where it is rendered into recognizable shapes, colors, and depth. We perceive a single, seamless world, but that perception is a high-speed construction, stitched together in fragments by independent networks. You can imagine the mind as water passing through a series of specialized pipes. As the information flows, each brain region injects its own flavor, a specific quality or feeling, into the stream. Split-brain patients show us what happens when those pipes are disconnected. Their behavior isn't the result of a new mind being created. It's a rare look at the separate parts that are already working inside everyone. The singular I we feel ourselves to be is a rich, emergent chorus produced by dozens of biological systems singing in unison. Consciousness is the point where a biological network becomes complex enough for the universe to finally look back and experience.